Hi, and welcome to the show. It is the day after Christmas, and we are here. I hope everybody enjoyed the time with their families. Um, we're back at it. Hopefully, all things are working well. Twitter signed me out and tried to sign back in, but I unclicked the you can share my phone number and email with everyone publicly. And so it gave me a new account and unsubscribed me from everyone. So I'm still trying to figure that out, but I'm still signed in on my phone. So anyway, technical difficulties all around as usual for me. So Noel, y'all, let's figure this out. I'll be right back with Sean right after this. If I can find it. Hey there, how you doing?
Feliz Navidad.
Feliz Navidad. That's another one. All the
Meliklicky. It's the
That's the best
feast
one.
day. Yeah.
That's the best one. Yep. Who was it that sang that? Was that an Elvis song?
No, it was a Bing Crosby or
Bing Crosby.
Sinatra or someone. It was a crooner. Yeah.
Crooner classics. Shannon and I last night, he was trying to tell me these Fortnite songs because the bird is a word, is the Family Guy is on Fortnite right now. And
Yes.
that's his emote or whatever, his dance around thing.
Yeah.
And
every time I said the word Family Guy over the past few days, everyone's like, "No, on Fortnite."
Oh God.
Everybody says it like that.
Wears me out. Anyway, and then and he's like, you know that song? I was like, Cannon, it's like a really old song. And then what was the other song? He was like, how do you know that song? And I was like, Cannon, that song's been around since Nana was a kid.
It's from the 60s.
Yeah.
You know the story of the Family Guy episode?
No.
They go to this 50s themed diner, and he's like, "Oh my God, I love this song. This is so great." And then the guy stops the song, and he's going to break the record. And he's like, "Dude, we're going to break the record. This record is from 1961. It's not 50s themed. We have to destroy it. It's the 50s restaurant." He's like, "No, I want it." And then he just plays it constantly. He buys commercials so people can hear it on TV.
It's just everywhere. Yeah. Well, there was another song. Oh, Shout. Throw your hands up and shout. You know that song that
and the ratings are Tears for Fears. Yeah.
Well, not the Tears for Fears one, but the first one. So every school song dance that we ever went to, they always played that song. And Cannon thought I was crazy. He's like, "No, Mom, that's not. It's on this game or it's this whatever." And I'm like, "No, Cannon, it's from Nana and Papa's day."
Oh, that song from that commercial.
Yes, or from Trolls.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Highway to Heaven from the GMC commercial. Yeah.
But there's not a lot of new movies right now. There's not a lot of new music right now. That's really interesting. And the kids are thinking that and then he's showing me Roly, Roly, Roly something. And I was like, your brother was dancing to that and Superman something 10 years ago in my kitchen. That's not new either. But they're reintroducing it to these next round of kids and they think it's new. It's just really interesting. But crazy.
Yeah, it's where you go back to good music before they changed. I have friends that are in bands, and I just say music has no soul now. And it's
well, they did change the frequency,
and then they start talking about that kind of stuff. Well, so they changed this beat from this to this, and they changed this frequency from this to that. He says that's when it. Well, I was like, I don't know, man. All I know,
he's right.
I can't play an instrument, but I can tell you, it's there's nothing there anymore.
Actually, that made me think of something that I wanted to talk about today, and that's privacy and this constitutional crisis that we're facing on multiple things. But our friend Trex with 2K tagged me and a couple other people in a tweet, which now I probably can't find because I've been logged out on my computer from Twitter. But I will give it a try. Because now I'm this other Litecoin Lisa, which is weird that it came up with that name because I don't know. It's the whole thing is just bizarre. I don't know.
Is it an old account that maybe just signed you into?
No, This is not my account. I don't know who Litecoin Lisa Light C28 whatever. I have no messages. Welcome to your inbox. I have no friends. Here is my profile. 0 friends, 0 following.
You sent me the message on
from my phone. This is from my computer, so I haven't been logged out. So somehow my computer, I got logged out, but not on my phone. So thank God.
What is your login here?
I don't know.
Because one may be your login with your phone number. Other one might be.
Because I was trying to log in with my email here.
Try with your phone number.
And it asked me, okay, I could try that later. Yeah. It asked me to click this box about sharing my phone number and my email publicly, and I unchecked the box, and then I hit accept. And when I did that, it goes, and it created this new account with no.
It probably logged you out, and then when you went to log in with whatever your email, when you created the old account, you probably created it with a login of your phone number. So that
why would it create this brand new account without? I wasn't
creating with the new login.
It wasn't.
No, the other one you probably created it with your phone number. So that was your main.
You have no idea how many Twitter accounts I have that have to do with businesses, all kinds of things. All of my emails that I know what I was doing. I have.
You've logged in and out before?
Yes.
Okay. So I never log, in. It's just always in.
Yeah. Anyway, very frustrating to me.
Hey,
let me see if I can find this person.
Where's your jeans?
That I used to be.
Oh, okay. Yeah, see that over there behind
me? This was my. Cannon said that's my Fortnite doppelganger. This blonde crazy person. I was like, okay.
See that? Yeah.
You could see that.
Hey, by the way, that picture there.
This one?
Yeah.
Well,
his right hand no. That's a different picture than when you post it on Facebook.
No, this is the same one.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it is.
No, the other one, his guns are apart, and his right hand, he is on the trigger.
The dogs are like this. Same one. Mm-mm.
Nope. Because I was gonna say, I'm not gonna say anything.
No, this is we only took I think 2 pictures, and one the dogs are over here and one the dogs are over here.
Nope. Guns are apart.
He doesn't have one where the guns are apart.
I'm showing you the picture. There it is.
Where?
Guns are apart. See how that silver gun is on his right leg, and this one it's on his left leg?
That's when he moved. Wait, where are you?
He just got rid of me because I showed him.
No, I'm trying to zoom in on you. Hold on, where are you? I'll move you over and make you bigger. How do I do that? Drag it?
No, just hit the button to make the picture go up.
Here, let me do this.
Yeah, see? Guns on the right leg.
That's one he posted. The dogs are different in that picture.
Lisa Davis posted this picture.
Oh, but the dogs are different. So I posted that one.
Okay, yeah, that's what I said.
But
what's this?
So I'm sorry.
I didn't even notice where's there's only one dog.
Yeah, those dogs.
Oh, the other one's up your
I posted the wrong picture on that one.
The other dog is up your butt. That's hilarious. It looks like you're pooping a dog.
Don't you know? I'm magical. I poop instead of pooping butterflies, I poop puppies.
Yeah, that's funny. Okay.
I eat rainbows and poop puppies. Yes.
Actually, the first part's okay. The second part's kind of gross.
Anyway, so yeah, that was our Christmas picture. Where was I going? But what I was trying to show you. So this, we could get in a lot of trouble if we had T-Mobile right now, because they have a thing called Shate or something like this. They have new terms of service come January 1 that you will be breaking this. So my friend Trek with 2Ks, he's like, hey, here's another indicator. 2024 is going to be a hell of a ride. And he tagged a bunch of us in it. It says beginning January 21, T-Mobile is instituting 3 new fees for non-compliant traffic that result in a severity 0 violation. A SEV 0 represents the most harmful violation to consumers and is the highest level of escalation which a carrier will engage with bandwidth. This applies across all products. SMS, MMS, short code, toll-free, and 10 DLC, which I don't know what half that means, but I think it's about texting or sending messages. Anyway, this non-compliance fine, USD, will be assessed for every SEV violation issue as follows. Tier 1, $2,000 for phishing, smishing, and social engineering.
Wait, who's charging this?
T-Mobile.
Ooh, yeah, this is terrible. They're turning into a regulatory agency.
Yes, and they're a private party. It gets worse. So then they go into all this other phishing, smishing, illegal content, and that means that including content that must be legal in all 50 states and federally. That illegal content includes, but is not limited to, cannabis, marijuana, CBD, illegal prescriptions, and solicitation. Tier 3, $500 for all other violations, including but not limited to shaft. Do you know what shaft means?
Yeah, baby.
What shaft means?
He's the whatever the shaft thing.
No, that's not what it means.
Shaft.
So this is on T-Mobile's website. In case you think this is all BS. Thank you to Zombie for finding this and sharing it. T-Mobile has quietly updated their terms of service to include fines for any content that they don't agree with. Beginning January 2024, they will be fining users who commit perceived violations on their bandwidth. Who knew in America, phone providers would now be policing content that fine you. SHAFT is an acronym that stands for sex, hate, alcohol, firearms, and tobacco. It outlines the categories of text messages specifically regulated due to moral.
So those are like me. You can do a meme and get.
Yeah.
See, that's the thing. It's not a
My
fine.
Christmas card.
The fact that they called it a fine.
Yes.
It's a fee. They can't charge a fine. If there's something illegal, what they should do is turn it over. Say, hey, this is illegal.
Great point.
Your agency where you find them, government where you find them, court where you find them.
Right.
It's not a fine. If how it's supposed to work is, if you commit a crime, the law enforcement gives you a fine. That money goes to fund the law enforcement.
Right.
They're not giving this away. It's not a fine. They're not, giving it to agencies that's not how they run. Where does that money go to? Where does that $2,000 go to?
Yep.
If it goes to them, it's just.
This says it is going to be monitored and enforced by the Cellular Telephone Industries Association.
It's just a way to scam money. That's to get around like price gouging or something,
So this is, I guess, somebody posted this on T-Mobile, but I do not see T-Mobile saying no on this. They said it's only for merchandisers and it's coming from the government. Well, I don't care. That's like Twitter saying the FBI told us to do it.
I'm sure. I was about to say, I'm sure that's what it is. It's like
I don't care.
Or a partnership or something. But that's got to, and it's probably a litmus test to see how far they can go. But that has to go before the Supreme Court, right away, and get struck down. Plus, that should hurt the company, like mass exodus, like Bud Light kind of problems. That should be, every other company should be scared to get in bed with the government. Just like every other company now is scared to get in bed with anything controversial or political because of the Bud Light thing. It should be something huge like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, and that's so more and more these conversations about privacy and us not, there were the talks about we're going to have a blackout. The movies came out and all the fear about it. Well, and then I saw a new Whitney Webb interview. Peter McCormick did a great interview with her. She wrote the books. Where are my books? They might be in my bedroom still. Blackmail of America, 1 and 2. It might be in my bedroom still. But that is about all. It starts at World War II, and then it leads up to like all of that, the Epstein stuff, all of that kind of stuff, and where that is all based out of, and how compromised everything is. And she really believes it's going to get worse before it gets better. And so some of my friends have been talking about, making sure, like, I guess it doesn't cost anything to run a Monero node, but you have to have like the hardware space to run it so that you could send messages, and like the MWeb kind of thing would be the same kind of thing, so that you could have privacy to communicate, and then be able to know each other's addresses so you could send messages. And think about, like, if we could not communicate with each other without having to, like, if you opt in, if you're going to use T-Mobile, if you're going to use whoever, and there's no other way to call your friends or get a message to your friends unless you do the thing or whatever, like, that's really scary. If it gets to the digital ID stuff and people don't want to do that, whatever that line in the sand is for people, where you feel like your rights are being violated or compromised. I mean, right now we have an opportunity where the internet is still open to where we could set up some of those tools.
Here, but in a lot of even Western countries, it's not.
But shouldn't we be doing those things if we can here while we can?
Yeah. But I was just trying to make that point that, we're like, oh, things are getting really bad here. In like European countries, they're so far beyond this. They were at this like 3 years ago, 5 years ago. So it's not. So another thing is, like, you can see where it's going, because it's, just look at those other countries. Vivek said something that hit me like a ton of bricks. He was talking about free speech and all, and the Second Amendment and all that. And he said, there's not much difference between our Constitution and the Iranian Constitution, the written Constitution. There's not much difference between our Constitution and, like, England didn't even have a written one. It's like that joke where they say they have the unwritten Constitution.
Yeah, I've heard
but
that.
There's like European countries that have written constitutions, Austria, so on.
Well, but if there's no enforcement, if there's no
that's the
punishment, and then there's
none
no
of them have
enforcement.
None of them have a Second Amendment. That's what makes us different, because we can enforce our own amendment when it gets down to brass tacks. If it gets, like you said, as bad as it can get, we can enforce our own Constitution.
Who is it that just came out with the beer that's called Preamble? Is it Vivek or Postelbeck or?
I thought it was odd that, like,
those guys,
most constitutions, like, hey, we want this for people and freedom and all. It's in writing. That's the big thing about the English. It's not in writing, but we have a written constitution. That's what makes us. No, it's different. Is that they aren't even real. Their governments still do what they want because they don't care. It's just a piece of paper. It's literally just a piece of paper. Well, that hit me, because we think, oh, it's because we have a constitution. Their schools they're taught the same thing. Mm-hmm. We have a great constitution here in Iran.
Think about that with the laws, like in New York and whatever. They're starting to close down stores and businesses are going out because there's laws that you shouldn't steal, or you can't steal more than $900 at a time or something.
Yeah.
But there's no enforcement. Yeah. So if there's no consequence, there can be all the laws in the land that you want. But if
that's waking people up.
No enforcement, and if there's no one holding those people accountable, you have to have enforcement and accountability, and some kind of punishment, and then enforcement and accountability. Otherwise, you can make up all the rules you want.
That's the thing that people are waking up to, stuff that we, like, always knew or have known for a long time. Mm-hmm. Like John used to say, what's America? What's the government? What's America? Mm-hmm. It's like the government's not America.
People.
And Jeff Berwick, the government's not a real thing. Right. If someone says, "What's the U.S. government?" It's the army. No, that's the army, and mm-hmm. that's a bunch of citizens and weapons. What's the government? And when you get down to it, it's just an idea. It's like we give power to this group of people, and they say things that are laws, and we just agree to it in our mind. I mean, you'll go to prison, and people will take away your rights, take away you from your family, just because people have an idea, and a bunch of people say, "Yeah, I'm going to follow that idea. That's good. Let's make that a thing." And there's a whole system set up around, but it's all just an idea, and people are getting that now. They're like, "Hey, what are you doing? That's against the rule." What rule? Well, you can't do that. I can, because that's not a real thing. There's nothing natural stopping me. It's only a group of people agreeing that this is reality. This is reality. This is what's going to happen. And you're not protected because of an idea. You're only protected because of things like your weapons, your guns, that's it. That's reality. You can have 20 unarmed policemen come at you, but one guy with a machine gun, well, they won't arrest him. You know what I mean? They have the law on their side.
Mm-hmm.
The law is just an idea, and people are waking up to that. They're like, "Oh, that can't happen." They're like, "We have these rules." But that's like when you go to the store and they're like, "Oh, we can't do that." I'm like, "Why can't you? It's our policy."
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you can do it. You just don't want to do it. And literally, laws and all that, it's just policy.
Well, and criminals don't follow the law.
Right.
I mean, that you can look back in history, and some people in their own personal lives, there are people that engage with you that you have contracts, and the other person does not uphold their end of the contract. And as long as there are no consequences for that person, they don't care that there's a contract.
Yeah.
It
And
just
there's
doesn't
social,
affect them.
we have social contracts like that.
Sure.
Every time, if you talk to someone, you're engaging in a social contract. If you say something and they say something that you don't like, you want to punch them in the face, but you can't. That's a violation of your social contract. Then. Or you want to talk about their mother, or you just okay. Well, we agree to disagree. But in California and New York, that's where we're seeing the people who make the law real, make the idea real, just saying, "Oh no, we're not going to do that. If it's under $900, we don't care." And people are like, "Hey, I opened my store here. I operate on the fact that this was a law.
That I could trust this
Right,
law.
that I could
Yeah.
trust the system."
Mhm.
And you people, the enforcers of the system, are like, "No, we're not going to worry about
We
this
change our
anymore."
mind. Mhm.
Yeah, and all of a sudden you see how everything falls apart. How everything's not. It's not a real government's not a reality. It's an
Well,
idea.
and then there's consequences to that. There's consequences that then the businesses cannot trust. Then the businesses have to protect themselves. It's the whole boundary
And that's
conversation,
and
you know?
like the guy in New York
Then I have to protect
who
myself.
defended his bodega store.
Mhm.
They tried to arrest him for attempted murder
Wow.
because he's like, "What are you talking about? This guy was robbing me." It's like, "Yeah, but you care more about stuff than you do that guy's life." It's like it's crazy land.
It is
And
crazy.
it's all got it. It's all by design. It really is. You like you're saying, take away their the system that was supposed to defend the system. So the people are like, "Well, I'm here. I've made my store. Now I have to defend it." Oh no, you can't defend it. We'll put you in jail. It's set up to fall apart.
That's where you stop being a part of that system then.
Well, that's what people are leaving in droves from those places. But the contract is, "Hey man, we're gonna make this a nice place for you to live and be protected, and you pay us, all this money in taxes and other things."
Mm.
And the tax money is leaving. They're not morons, so it has to be funded from somewhere else, because you're getting to the point in California now where even like these rich leftists are like, "Hey, I don't mind paying my fair share, but you know, yeah, I make $25 million on movies, but if you're taking 75% of my money instead of 50, I don't know."
It's crazy. It's
Yeah.
really crazy. The privacy issue is really a concern to me. Um, that is like very like we already know we live in a surveillance state. I mean, we're already getting, you get ads on that pop up on your phone after you've been talking about, needing dog food or whatever,
Yeah.
and in your living room, in your home, in the privacy of your home with your family. But it's just, and like you've been saying, like but we've gotten normalized to it. Oh, there's a meme about it or a TV show or whatever. And all of a sudden no one's freaked out about it. Like I
Everyone jokes
remember
about
when I signed up for Facebook, I was terrified. Like the little babysitter was helping me and she's like, "Oh, I'll help you create an account." And I was like, I felt like I was exposing my home, my family to the wide world. I was terrified, scared to death. And that's probably a way more healthy mindset, to be totally honest, than now people like, "Oh, my YouTube says and Facebook said my kids
it.
can have their own account when they're 12, so let's sign them up and let every pervert talk to them, and they don't need permissions, they can have their own account."
My parents got internet, and I was, into the internet like very early on, and they got web TV. It was internet on your TV with like a remote control. It was very archaic. But like, my parents never had emails or anything. My mom set up her first email, and it was her first and last name, right? And then maybe even like the city at like webtv.com. And I was like, "Are you insane?" I was like, "Do you know like that's that's the worst thing you could do? That's all your identities right there. People can now see just from your email who you are. You're a much bigger target." And she was like, "What are you talking about? What are you talking about?" I
Mhm.
give my social security number to everybody. Military is the worst because like everybody, you give all your information to anyone that asks for it. I was a financial advisor. I like work for. I'd walk into someone's house and what's your social security number? They would just give it to you. With
Wow.
everything. It was insane.
That's part of the culture though, or
Yeah, because you have to give everything. I still know my stepfather's social security number by heart.
wow.
And I had to log into like a mortgage thing for him because I just knew what it was. But I still know my ex-wife's. I get him confused though. But yeah, you
You
have to
get
know
your
your
ex-wives confused.
and his. They're similar.
You only have one.
Different
Oh, I
beginning
should
numbers.
show you guys one of my Christmas gifts. I don't know if I
Mhm.
can find it. My daughter got us this Christmas gift, and then I wanna show you something that my husband saw on Christmas Day that was a little concerning.
I sent everyone out
Oh, this is so sad.
ounces of silver, but they were like lucky coins. Like they had a shamrock on one side, other side had a cross. It said Aaron Gobra, the Irish thing.
I should have my cards on the kitchen
Yeah,
counter.
my sister, she got a hole in the side of her card. My
Mine was all sealed up and taped.
yeah, I didn't tape the sides. You probably have a little rip on the side where the ounce silver popped out
Oh, maybe I'll
on the
look.
bottom. I should have taped it. I should have taped the card closed inside.
Well, also you need to, like, obfuscate it a little better, like, put cardboard or some packing material or
And I'll put the
something.
box of cards. Those
When they can feel a coin in there, they're like, "Oh,
envelopes.
yeah."
Envelopes are terrible.
Terrible.
But yeah, no one got it. Nobody. Lee hasn't got his in freaking
This was fun.
Finland. Yeah, I saw that.
We found a use for Joe Biden.
Uh,
My daughter got me this, toilet paper. This was the use for Joe Biden.
it's weird, but I don't want to put him up my butt. So.
Merry Christmas, everybody. Cannon thinks it's funny. He goes, "I can't wait to wipe my butt with Joe Biden." But I wanted to share this with you guys. I think you can see this. Oh.
I'm going to film all these. I'll tell you the story in a minute. I'm going to film all these military vehicles that are over here on the train tracks.
There's a bunch up here.
Oh, yeah.
He's talking to his mom.
Big with them. Scary.
There's just miles and miles. He can't quite get all of them in the video of military vehicles and containers. There's the beginning of it. Well, it's not the beginning. It's one side of it because it goes under the bridge and down the other side.
This week.
And then hopefully you can see it here. There it starts. Or more of them.
Weird how gray and cold.
Yeah, and it wasn't very cold at all. Kids all got hot. Actually, I had to turn the air conditioner on.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it's here.
house situated and everything. Halfway in it like she wants. And she'll come down.
It looks
She's
like they're all
brought
going
the
south to
carpet out of her
Texas.
house
They're on
and
the
stuff
train.
down, and it's all piled on my pool.
Headed south. He keeps going, but Mom was talking, so she didn't understand that he was recording, so he turned it off. But those are all headed south to Texas, I believe. They're in Oklahoma City on a train headed south, so I'm not sure where they're going. But just saying, there was a lot there and a lot more that he didn't get filmed. And it reminded me of right before, I believe it was right before the Great Infection, there was the same thing headed north. Like I was in a car wash where I could see the train track while I was in the car wash. And like the whole time I'm in the car wash, it's just tanks and big trucks and containers and whatever going north. But I don't know.
Yeah.
I wonder if there will be something that happens again early January because of that date.
I don't know, but there's like battle lines being drawn. Like the stuff we talked about last week in Texas and the laws.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, this is the law in Texas. Like, no, that's not the law. The law is this. I'm like, yeah, it's the law that the federal government says. This is the law in Texas.
Well, and what would T-Mobile do if there's conflicting laws in two different states?
Yeah.
If it's illegal in one state but legal in that, what they said, if it's illegal anywhere. So
that's the thing. If
they're just embracing all
they
the.
charge me $500 because of something that's illegal in California.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, everything's illegal in California. I didn't think about that. Or even say, Oklahoma.
Mm-hmm.
Like you can, you can marry your first cousin. No, that's
I think that's Arkansas.
Arkansas, yeah. Texas and Oklahoma are second cousins, but it is. But if it's something, if they hit me for $500 and that hurts my credit or my bills, I would sue them. I'm like, hey man, my electricity got turned off, the next month. And
most people don't have the money to sue somebody for stuff like that, though.
Yeah, but
that's the thing where these big corporations win because they have in-house lawyers. They are the bully. They control
all these lawyer companies know they have deep pockets. That they look at it. It's like, hey, this is going to cost us $500,000 just to stretch it out, or we give them $250. This lawyer company they have takes $150. They get $100. If people start doing that and start hitting them, and if they go to court, they're fucked. That's when you're like, hey man, this guy that went to court and this law firm that put up all this money to get us here, there's 1,000 people that they settled out of court for. Now we're here, you got to hit them, and that's when they hit them for like $100 million or something. And they have to learn that we'll play ball with the government.
Will fight back.
Yeah, playing ball with the government is not good. It's better to fight the government as a big corporation than to have to deal with the people.
Well, speaking of which, before we jump over to your channel, I heard you have an announcement. And I wanted to make sure everybody over here knows that you've joined the fight.
Yeah.
With ICANN, the investors.
Yeah, and I've been saying this since back in the day when I was a financial advisor. It's like, and the only person in government is Crypto Mom who's ever admitted to what it is. And it's the qualified investor rule.
Accredited investor.
Accredited or qualified. Yeah,
is it called both?
Yeah. It depends on also what countries that are dealing with it.
Okay.
So in order to be in a qualified investor, you have to have a certain amount of money, like $250,000, $500,000 in assets before you're allowed to be a qualified or accredited investor to invest in what rich people get to invest in and make lots of money. So that, to me, that obviously limits people. And that's why one of the reasons why they hated crypto so much is because anyone could invest, And I always said the qualification should be if you're a cab driver and you're like, I'm going to work 6 days instead of 5 days and be away from my family. but at the end of the month, I'm going to have an extra, $500 to put into this investment. That's your qualification. You took your money, you worked extra hard, you went above and beyond so you could have this money to put into something to pursue happiness,
Right.
which is what we are supposed to be allowed to do.
Mm-hmm.
And by limiting people's abilities and choices and opportunities, you are taking away their basic right to have the pursuit of happiness in the United States. And what the law says is, it basically is, hey, if you're not smart enough to have $250,000 to $300,000 or $500,000, you're dumb, and you can't make decisions on where to invest your money at. We will tell you what to invest your money at, and we'll tell you what you can't. This is too risky for you. You give your money to the government, buy a bond. That's good for you, little fella. But and that's what it is. You're too stupid. 100%. And the only person who's ever admitted that is Crypto Mom. She's like, yeah, you can't really get around. And that law basically says if you don't have this much money, then you're too stupid to be trusted to invest in anything, because you should have that much money already. But they don't have that much money. Trump, he made lots of money. He's a good businessman. I read his book when I was 20. But he inherited a shitload of money in the beginning and was able to get everything started he's from a rich family. They're
and very connected.
Yeah, they're construction there, but yeah, it was he was an elite. He's always been an elite. He's always been wealthy. He's from freaking Manhattan. It's the way that's the way it is. And that's what he started running on. He's like, yeah, I know how the system is. I work the system. I'm part of the system. Mm-hmm. It's really corrupt. I know it's corrupt. That's what everyone was like endeared him. It's because people were like, yeah, that's the truth.
Don't hate the player, hate the game. And so he used it's a tool, so use it for good or evil. And he chose, I think,
most all people. Bill Gates, didn't, build Microsoft from the ground up in a garage. His father was like a bajillionaire. Most of the people who are qualified and accredited investors, they didn't do anything on their own. They didn't, start working at McDonald's and work their way up and save their pennies. So it's a terrible law. It needs to be, I thought, brought to the Supreme Court as a unconstitutional law. And ICANN is filing in certain key states, and they're going to use me to file in Texas to.
It's very exciting.
Get rid of the law. Yeah.
I love it. I'm so proud of you. I'm excited that you're doing that. And I love ICANN, and I'm proud of you. And it's just really exciting to see things can change when people will decide to be brave and stand up to things that are wrong in this world. So proud of you, my friend. Well, let's jump over to your channel and see everybody over on Satoshi Shant's channel for the second half of Truth Tuesday.
Hit the like button. Merry Christmas.
Noel, y'all.